The community was filled with fear and anxiety after a chemical explosion occurred in a warehouse located near a harbor. Residents were questioning the safety measures taken and who was responsible for the decision to place the warehouse in that location. Rumors began circulating, including conspiracy theories suggesting illegal activities and cover-ups. Chinese officials conducted door-to-door interviews to gather information about any suspicious activity before the explosion, while local news outlets interviewed officials and experts to understand safety regulations and preventative measures. How were hazardous chemicals allowed to be stored near residential areas, and what safety regulations were in place? These initial inquiries laid the groundwork for a complex and multifaceted investigation. The city grappled with the aftermath of the disaster, wondering how local authorities would handle the environmental and the health impacts. The support provided to affected families and the future of the city near the harbor forever changed by this tragic event. Tragedy struck in eastern China when an explosion at a Sinochem chemical plant claimed the lives of 5 people, left one person missing and injured another. The local government confirmed the devastating news on Monday. The fateful blast happened on Monday morning in the city of Liaocheng in the Shandong province. It occurred at Luxi Chemical, a Sinochem subsidiary in the production area of hydrogen peroxide. High-Tech Zone Management Committee issued a statement detailing this horrifying incident. As the news of the explosion spread, a dark cloud hung over the region. The bustling city of Liaocheng had come to a standstill, as people grieved the loss of lives and worried about the missing person. The tight-knit community was left heartbroken, grappling with the magnitude of the disaster. The committee's statement informed the public that the fire had been put out, but the cause of the accident was still under investigation. As the city held its breath, countless questions swirled in the minds of residents. What triggered the explosion? Was it a tragic accident, or was there something more sinister at play? The local authorities began an extensive inquiry to uncover the truth behind the blast. As the investigation proceeded, the suspense grew thicker with every passing hour, and the city remained on edge. The families of the victims mourned their loved ones, struggling to come to terms with the sudden and tragic turn of events. The injured person fought for their life, and the community anxiously awaited news about the missing individual. The atmosphere was tense as residents of Liaocheng desperately sought answers and hoped for closure. As the investigation continued, new details emerged and the story began to take shape. The local media played a critical role in relaying information to the public, keeping them informed about any updates or breakthroughs in the case. The journalists worked tirelessly to dig deeper, asking probing questions of officials, experts, and company representatives. Were there any known safety issues or concerns at the plant before the explosion? What measures were in place to prevent such accidents from occurring? How will the company and government support the families affected by the tragedy? As the city longed and waited for these answers, the situation grew more dramatic with every passing day. The questions continued to pile up. The thirst for the truth became almost unbearable. The families of the victims demanded justice, and the people of Liaocheng rallied behind them, uniting as a community in their grief and determination. In the midst of the tragedy, Liaocheng's residents demonstrated their resilience and their compassion. They came together to support the victims' families, offering their condolences, their assistance, and a shoulder to cry on. Volunteers joined forces to help with the recovery effort, while local businesses donated essential supplies and services. The Sinochem chemical plant explosion shook the city of Liaocheng to its core, leaving a lasting impact on the community. As the investigation unfolded, the suspense only grew. The people demanded accountability and change, unwilling to let the memory of 5 lives fade away without answers. So the truth had been revealed, but it brought little solace to the families mourning their missed loved ones. The air around the site was deemed safe, yet concerns lingered about the potential health effects of the toxic chemicals released into the atmosphere. Luca Ning was one of the fortunate few here. She had been sleeping when the explosion occurred, but managed to escape unscathed. "I just feel lucky to be here," she said, a sentiment many of her neighbors shared. Authorities enlisted a chemical warfare team to advise on safely combating the blaze. Firefighters worked in meticulously monitored shifts to minimize exposure, and authorities were confident the fire would be extinguished soon. Afterward, the chemical containers would be relocated to a secure area for examination. So the pressing question on everybody's minds was, how did it happen? How had a warehouse containing such dangerous chemicals been constructed so close to residential areas? The harbor city was known for its heavy industry, but this disaster was unprecedented. People demanded answers and accountability for the loss of lives and property. Notices on the bulletin board told a heart-wrenching story. Family members searching for loved ones posted messages, seeking information about security guards, engineers, or firefighters working at the site. These notices conveyed heartbreak and despair, a stark reminder of the explosion's impact on the community. Yet, amidst the tragedy, hope flickered. A firefighter was rescued alive from the debris after being trapped for over 30 hours. This triumph in the face of overwhelming adversity lifted the spirits of everybody in the area. As smoke continued to rise, people pondered their future. The truth had been disclosed, but it provided little comfort to those who had suffered great losses. The critical questions remained unanswered, and the search for accountability continued. All that remained was to wait for the fire's extinguishment and the chemical container's relocation to a safe zone. The community would have to be patient as authorities conducted their investigation and determined what had gone wrong. Until then, they could only cling to hope and strive to rebuild their devastated lives. And this isn't the only time tragedy has struck. The disastrous explosions in Tianjin 2015 can be traced back to immediate factors and deeper issues at play. The initial spark came from a can of nitrocellulose powder, where the wetting agent inside evaporated at high temperatures, causing some spontaneous combustion. Once the fire started in the dry nitrocellulose, it quickly spread to the ammonium nitrate fertilizer and other potentially explosive substances. When the flames reached the fertilizer, it exploded. The abundance of explosives made another explosion inevitable. It is crucial to note that this warehouse catastrophe did not result from natural forces. The cause of the explosion in Tianjin, China was ultimately human error. Over 100 people contributed to the chaos in various ways, some through carelessness and others through active involvement in creating the dangerous situation. The warehouse, operated by Tianjin Ruihai International Logistics, was found to be illegally storing massive quantities of hazardous materials with inadequate safety measures in place. So, what do we learn from this tragic event? From any company dealing with nitrocellulose, it's essential to store containers securely, away from heat, light, and potential sources of ignition. The Tianjin explosions serve as a sobering reminder of the importance of safety precautions. Gosh. One of the key lessons from the Tianjin disaster is that supervision is crucial for ensuring safety. Disasters like this one can be prevented if government agencies or other recognized bodies establish rules and ensure that companies actually, follow the rules. Although compliance with these regulations may seem burdensome, preventing tragedies like the one in Tianjin is vital. In the US, agencies like the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, an environmental protection agency, the Department of Transportation, and the Department of Homeland Security have all regulations regarding the storage, handling, and transportation of hazardous materials. Understanding and respecting these rules is the first step towards maintaining safe operations. Another important risk and lesson that workers need hazmat training. Another important lesson is that workers need hazmat training and awareness of risks. Hazardous materials pose different risks and require specific handling procedures. Employees gotta be trained on how to safely store, pack, and transport these items. They should be knowledgeable about the chemicals that they're going to be working with. Employers must provide their workers with HazCom mandated training to prepare them for potential hazards on the job. A HazCom plan should be in place, outlining how the company will inform employees about potential dangers, making safety data sheets available, and providing proper training. A chemical inventory list should document the types, amounts, and locations of all the hazardous chemicals used by the organization. This was clearly lacking in the Tianjin storage facility. So lastly, businesses handling dangerous materials must establish contingency plans for emergencies and safe storage of hazardous materials. While being proactive is important, having a backup plan is essential. Companies should plan for potential accidents, such as the accidental ignition or spillage of a hazardous material. They should also inform the nearest emergency services of any unique threats in their building so that they can quickly respond if help is actually, needed. This approach can help prevent disasters like the one that occurred in Tianjin. In the heart of China, danger lurks within chemical plants, threatening local ecosystems and human health. The ever-present fear of accidents, explosions, and insufficient safety measures have raised serious concerns about the methods employed within the chemical industry. The Chinese government finds itself in challenging balancing act right now. They aim to stimulate economic growth and meet the diverse needs of their population without putting a damper on the chemical industry's expansion. In order to create a safer world for everybody, it's crucial that we confront these looming dangers head-on. implement necessary regulations, and significantly decrease the probability of future disasters. This delicate balance has become increasingly difficult to maintain, as the chemical industry's rapid growth continues to collide with the need for heightened safety and environmental standards. The government has to navigate this complex landscape and make difficult decisions that affect the economy and its citizens' well-being. The chemical industry plays a vital role in the global economy, with China being a significant contributor. However, this impressive growth has come at a price, as the industry struggles to ensure the safety of its workers and the communities surrounding these facilities. The consequence of neglecting these concerns can be severe, with lives lost and ecosystems damaged beyond repair. Seriously. Investing in research and development to create safer, more environmentally friendly alternatives to hazardous chemicals is a proactive step towards a sustainable future. These innovations have the potential to reduce the industry's reliance on harmful substances and minimize the risks posed to both human health and the environment. The sparks that ignited a deadly inferno in Jiangsu County, eastern China on March 21st sent shockwaves across the nation, resurrecting memories of the 2015 explosion at a chemical warehouse in Tianjin. The disaster claimed 78 lives, with 566 people seeking treatment at local hospitals after the smoke had dissipated. Tianjin Chemical Company officials as they endeavor to uncover the blast's cause. The media's portrayal of the disaster's preventability raises questions about whether the lessons of Tianjin have actually really, and I mean truly, been learned. The Chenzhonggang Industrial Park in Jiangsu has a notorious history of explosions and close calls. In 2007, a blast at the Lianghua technology plant claimed 8 lives and it injured dozens more. A chlorine leak in 2010 led to the hospitalization of several chloralkali process plant employees. Despite these alarming incidents, the park continued to operate close to residential areas. 3 elementary schools and 2 kindergartens, less than 2 kilometers from the park, fueled anxiety amongst locals. Prior concerns about safety at the Tianjin plant were raised with the State Administration of Work Safety, the Chinese government agency responsible for regulating workplace safety. The lack of specific measures to address these problems and insufficient risk identification and hazard analysis contributed to this dire situation. In the wake of the explosion, Chinese President Xi Jinping issued instructions regarding the investigation and relief work, and the State Council Work Safety Commission issued an urgent notice to improve safety standards and prevent future incidents. Authorities in at least 16 jurisdictions have initiated safety checks in the chemical industry following the Jiangsu tragedy. The Tianjin Party secretary underscored the importance of remembering the bloody lessons of the 2015 explosion. Sadly, little has changed at the Tianjin facility since the nearby Tianjin tragedy. In 2016, production licenses were not renewed after safety inspectors identified 13 hazards at the plant the previous February. The company was fined 6 times between 2016 and 2018 for inadequately managing its waste gas and solid waste. The plant was shut down due to environmental concerns in June 2018, and it reopened in the beginning of 2019. The Jiangsu County, where the explosion occurred, lagged behind its neighbors in development. However, chemical manufacturers found the area appealing due to its proximity to the Yellow Sea and the Huang River. Government incentives for chemical manufacturing led to the construction of numerous factories, significantly boosting the local economy. In 2011, about 1/6 of the country's tax revenue came from the Chenzhonggang Industrial Park. A 2011 media investigation revealed that Chenzhonggang actively courted chemical companies by suggesting the local environment could handle the pollution. Yes, they suggested the local environment could handle the pollution. Oh, don't you love money? Yet, the long-term effects on the environment remain uncertain. On March 2023, the pollution levels in the rivers near the blast site were alarmingly higher than average, with dichloroethane and methylene chloride concentrations in the Jingfeng River exceeding typical levels by 2.8 and 8.4% respectively. China's Minister of Environment, Li Zhongji, has prioritized cleanup efforts following the blast. The Ministry of Ecology and Environment constructed dams on rivers within the industrial park to prevent pollution from flowing into the Huang River. However, it remains difficult to predict the long-term impact of the explosion on the environment. The rapid expansion of China's chemical industry raises serious safety concerns. It's projected that China's global chemical sales market share is going to increase from 40% in 2018 to 50% by 2030. The tragic Jiangsu disaster highlights the considerable challenges Chinese regulators face in ensuring the safety of residents living near the country's booming chemical industries. The devastating explosion at the Zhenjiang Industrial Park underscores the need for stricter safety and environmental regulations within China's chemical industry. People need to stop dying. The stakes are too high for the government to delay addressing these potentially lethal facilities. As the repercussions of the Zhongshui explosion continue to unfold, the Chinese government grapples with the daunting task of striking a balance between economic growth and the well-being and safety of its people. In light of the lessons learned from Tianjin and Zhongshui, China's chemical industry demands immediate attention. Only through this vigilant approach can we ensure that natural disasters no longer pose an imminent threat to innocent lives. So, hitting like that subscribe button. Hit the like and the subscribe button. And yeah, do you think the potential dangers are worth working in China's chemical industry? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye! I know, he's so goofy and funny, everyone said, and then they clapped.